Hi there, everyone, and this is Krissy from InTheStars by Krissy.com, and welcome to another video in relation to astrology and how this actually affects us in the real world over here. So, if you don't know me, I am Krissy, and I am a astrologer and intuitive empath and spiritual worker here in the Philippines. So I usually do videos and upload content relating to astrology and how this may affect the Philippines and some basic form of practices that you can do at home. Which might be beneficial and helpful for you. So, if you're interested with all those kinds of things, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell icon whenever so that you get notified whenever I post videos like this. Anyway, so the next coming new moon is going to be on November 5, 2021, and nag-start ito sa atin very early around 5:14 a.m. So that is going to be the moment of the new moon exact, and this is going to be the chart that we have over here. And then nag-iwan ako ng mga keywords that you can actually look into so that you will have a form of idea if you are not so much into the basic astrology. So that, parang mga keywords lang siya that we are going to be discussing one by one. Anyways, so if you have seen my video on TikTok, I gave a few warnings and information regarding the new moon in the sign of Scorpio. And I know they are not the most positive one, and we'll talk about the reasons for that later on. But in this video, we are going to be tackling it much detailed. Kumbaga, kung paano ba to makaka-affect sa atin. And this is going to be the chart actually here in the Philippines. So if you are actually watching this and then yung location mo is maybe nasa Dubai or maybe nasa US chart, things can actually be a bit different for you based on your location, okay? So it might not be the same, exactly. But the main are going to be, the same. It's just that how this can actually affect you and your own environment and surroundings might be different. Now, Scorpio ang energy ng new moon, okay? And if you don't know, Scorpio is actually fall, okay, when it comes to the moon. So, ibig sabihin, very weak. Very weak siya, pero it does not mean it's not gonna be intense. In fact, it's going to be super, super intense. And so this new moon uh is first of all nasa 12 degrees siya. So which means that it has the activation of the Pisces energy since the 12 degree is about Pisces. And when we think about the 12 degrees, it's all about things that are hidden, things that you don't know. And when we are talking about Scorpio, we easily get this notion of, secrets, occult, the deep things in life, and all those kinds of things. And new moon is all about new beginnings or things that we might start or begin. Like, for example, for some of you guys, maybe you are going to start a new venture onto the occult. Maybe you'll be interested with astrology because of this video. Who knows? Or this could also be a situation of, I would say, Scorpio is a very complex energy, complex sign ito, and it rules the eighth house. And when we are talking about the eighth house, it has a lot to do with psychological stuff, things to do with research, like being a detective or investigating something, studying something, all of those kinds of things. It might have your some form of connection when it comes to money. Scorpio is all about taking money or losing money, all of those kinds of things. Scorpio is all or nothing, it's all about death and transformation. And it is also has the element of risk taking, but it also is very raw when it comes to their emotions and feelings, and that is why it's actually at the fall, because fall siya with the moon because it can be too much, may sobrang energy siya na nabibigay, which can be not the most healthy kind of feeling or kind of emotions, because you're feeling way too much. So this can actually create a lot of anxiety to people, or over empathize on things, sympathize on things, all those kinds of things. For some people naman, this could be an element of lack of sensitivity. So it really depends. This is also very dramatic to the point na minsan stressful and toxic. All those kinds of things. Definitely, though, there's going to be intense feelings that comes into this. Um, Also, your emotions are heightened and all of those kinds of things. So, in Scorpio, it has the energy of Mars, diba? So, it can create a lot of friction all at the same time. So, it's not really a feel good energy. So, and this is me just talking about you guys regarding Scorpio as a whole in relation to the moon. Um, so, hindi ko naman sinasabi na gano'n yung energy ng lahat ng Scorpio. It's just that, that's just the facts. So, the first thing that we are actually going to notice here is that our ascendant sign is in the sign of Scorpio. So, this new moon is actually at the ascendant ascendant area ng Philippines chart. So, this actually creates that more emphasis na mas mafe-feel natin as a whole. It's something that's going to be very obvious and felt for us, especially. So, and because of these energies, it's also activating Mercury in the sign of Libras. And Libra is all about justice, balance, maybe love, harmony, things that feels good, that looks good, the yin and yang about a relationship and stuff like that. And it's also going to activate Venus at its anaretic degree. Anaretic degree ang tinatawag natin pagka nasa 29 degree ang isang planeta, kasi pag nasa 29 degree siya, parang lumilipat kasi siya, no? Nagtra-transition siya from one sign into another sign. So, papasok na kasi siya sa Capricorn. So, kaya parang merong unstable energy ang ating Venus over here. And it's not actually visible sa chart na meron ako on this video, but Venus and Mercury are actually having a conversation together, and then dalawa sila ay nagkakaroon ng connection kay Sedna. And if you have been watching my videos, and if you are part of the Facebook group that I had, by the way, you can join in my Facebook group by checking out the link down below the description of this video. Sedna has a lot to do with our own maturity, because maybe we want so much of our desires, we feed our desires to the point that we end up making mistakes. And Sedna right now is actually with Uranus. And another thing about this new moon is that this new moon is actually creating an opposition kay Uranus. So, Sedna is going to be activated, Uranus is going to be activated, and since walang degree dito, you will also find that Uranus in the sign of Taurus in opposition sa new moon is also in 12 degrees. So this is actually pretty much intense. Sobrang buhay siya and sobrang activated. Okay? So this is going to create a lot of, sudden events, or Uranus kasi is can create a lot of explosive situation, a lot of sudden things. Maybe you might engage with something and you might regret it later on. Parang may ganong element siya. So since this is a new moon, I would say na parang this is a time wherein you need to be careful of feeding in too much of your own desires, doing things that is unfair, all of those kinds of things. Because the top of the chart says that um, justice is going to prevail, kumbaga. So, maraming mga issues about legalities, mga lawsuit, all of those kinds of things can come into place. People are going to be speaking up, and they cannot help but do so. Or this could also be a situation wherein, that moment wherein nagwala na si Sedna because of all na sunod-sunod na kamalasan na na-experience niya. She just end up wailing and crying, calling for help and stuff like that. So we could be entering in that form of situation wherein hindi ko na kaya. Bakit lagi na lang ganito? Bakit lagi na lang ganyan? There could be issues of those kinds of elements. Um, Mercury and Venus here might be talking about women in particular, maybe women will be much more empowered during this new moon, or it has a lot to do with celebrities or government, some form of figure in the government or celebrity or idol or something like that that is going to be um, highlighted during this new moon. Maybe speaking up or saying something and all of those kinds of things. This can also be a situation wherein you are going to be favored, or you are going to get good grace or good karma during this time if you have been doing something good. Kumbaga, what you are going to get throughout the course of this new moon is that may ginawa ka bang tama or meron ka bang ginawang mali. If meron kang ginawang mali, you might not be able to escape certain messy things that you have entered on, kumbaga. So, andun yung energy here wherein we are being called to pay attention to the things that we are engaging on, the things that we are doing, the things that we are acting. Are we saying things that are really true, or are we telling lies to people? Are we doing something immoral? All of those kinds of things. And I really think that this is going to manifest in ways about relationships with people, what is fair, what is not fair. May mga tao bang hindi nakakapag-speak up or have been quiet, all of those kind of things and stuff like that. Those things can be quite into the situation. And this is Mars in the sign of Scorpio as well. During this time, Mars moves na into the sign of Scorpio. So that creates another element into this new moon. So this can create a lot of fiery elements wherein people are going to not be afraid to express themselves, and maybe they want to be independent with things, and ayaw na nilang tumakbo, gusto na lang to fight life head on, all of those kinds of things. This can be quite aggressive because of that. Lalo na pag you feel that you are blocked or something like that, you might do things in a very rash way. But we are, again, we are being encouraged here to think first before we actually do something. And the difference of a Scorpio and Aries, even though na they are both linked to Mars, is that Scorpio knows how to do strategy, while Aries is really more about, bara-bara. Bara-barang, sige, be impulsive, go to a war, go to a fight, and stuff like that. But when it comes to Scorpio, things can be quite sneaky. Things can be quite, it's really more about strategic, mind games and stuff like that. This can also trigger a lot of temptations, I would say, in marami tayong mga emotional tests that we might actually encounter and feel. So we also need to be careful because there could be a lot of rage in us. And at the same time, Scorpio is a transformational sign. So we might want to change something or create something in our life. So it really depends where Scorpio is going to be in your chart. I would say siguro especially this is going to especially be very significant for people that have Scorpio at its early degrees, starting from 0 degrees of Scorpio, lalo na, until mga 15 degrees of Scorpio. Anything na Scorpio or Taurus will be very much affected by this. Also, if you have I would say if you have activations of ano ba? Mutable signs can also be affected by this one way or another. Especially at the late degrees ng mutable signs. But anyways, ayun, also, let us not forget that Pluto and Aries is still squaring each other, so this can really trigger a lot of things. This is that moment wherein someone wants to take revenge and they are parang alam mo yun, nawawala yung sense ang reasoning nila. Imbes na usually papalagpasin nila ang isang bagay, hindi na nila papalagpasin ngayon. They're going to, do something about it. And at the same time, Mars is actually creating some form of aspect kay Neptune at the same time. So, there could be a sense of, elusive things going on or parang magkakaroon ng mga issues about the boundaries all at the same time. Let us not forget as well that Scorpio has the energy of energy itself. It can, it can deal with electric currents or electricity itself. Has a lot to do with our sexual organs as well. So, themes about adultery, sex could be a theme one way or another. This can also be a theme regarding our stability in the things that we have ownership on. Things that is mine and mine alone. Ito yung akin eh. Kailangan ko ipaglaban to. Yung mga ganong situations can actually come into play. So, also, I believe, there could be also issue when it comes to expression. So we mentioned earlier, no, na parang this is the moment wherein we are wanting to express ourselves, but at the same time, we might have some form of issues based on our own expression. Maybe because we are not saying things clearly. And one of the things that I don't like about Scorpio, for some Scorpio people, lalo na pagka meron silang Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, is that they really have issues when it comes to saying something to people. It's like you're asking them a yes or no question, but they cannot even tell you a clear cut answer. Like, you ask them yes or no, and they answer you with, I don't know, maybe. So, para hindi ka makakuha ng clear na sagot. And that can be frustrating as a whole. So, and a lot of people actually misunderstand them dahil nga sa habit nilang ganyan. So, Saturn is going to be aspecting this Scorpio energy. So, we might need to be careful of our own actions because kumbaga ang mangyayari dito is that someone is actually seeing through what we are doing. So, it's like, alam mo yun, if you're doing something that is very much can trigger the law will be able to see through your deception. Kumbaga. And that can be a very problematic situation. Lalo na this new moon is actually very impulsive, very unpredictable as well, and it can really trigger some form of conflict. You know, it's hindi na natin to maiiwasan. It can trigger a form of conflict. Um, Parang meron tayong energy here to rebel. Rebellious tayo. We find it hard to follow the rules. We want to express our own individuality and stuff like that. So, maraming mga situations na ganyan. So, marami tayong mga difficulty with this new moon in the sign of Scorpio. Though technically, it is within the star of Gemma. Gemma naman is actually a really wonderful star and related din siya sa star ni Spica. So, I really believe, no, na parang Spica can never be really bad. It's just that the element of Spica and Gemma can actually be highly dependent if you are doing things that is moral, correct, and just. So I really think now we need to be, taking a look on whether we're doing the right thing or not. This can also be a situation wherein you'll be more tempted to beautify certain things. Like, I want something beautiful. So this can make you like buy certain things or give in to your own desires and stuff like that. And remember, no, may pagkaswapang tong energy na to. Like, it doesn't want to share. I want it all or nothing at all. Remember that. So remember the primal energy of Scorpio. And there could be just situations that we really don't understand. Like, may mga elements here na parang since meron tayong boundary issue with this new moon, like we just don't know when to stop. So, I would say na maraming mga delikadong elements itong new moon in the sign of Scorpio. So, I would advise people to be more watchful with the things that they're actually doing, lalo na kung meron tayong activation ni Uranus. So, we don't want to trigger any form of arguments, lalo na pag nasa kalye tayo, nasa labas, nasa streets. You don't want to have a car crash or fight with someone dahil lang na tumawid sila, na hindi sila dapat tumawid. Yung mga ganon, napadaan lang sila dito, nagkaroon sila ng mga ganyang elements. Also, we also need to be careful of very manipulative people that can twist words and things to gain something, all of those kinds of stuff. Because bago pa lang ang energy ng Mars, but it's still effective here in this new moon. So this can actually trigger people to do a lot of sneaky ways of doing things. So, but I would say na if you are going to, if you have the habit of following your intuition or double checking certain things, that can actually be your saving grace. I would say so myself. So follow your intuition. Lalo na this new moon is actually having a trine naman kay Neptune. So there's actually, a good energy into that. Also, if you are going to be fighting for, kumbaga, fight for other people, fight for what is right, for what is just, reveal the truth. All those kinds of things. And maybe yun lang naman ang gusto ni Scorpio, na ilabas natin yung totoo. And sometimes, if we have been trying so hard to hide certain things, it can be messy to suddenly say the truth, diba? So that can create some form of issues at the beginning. Kasi ito rin yung moment na we try to do something and it creates some form of chaos, but if it is for the greater good of all, it can actually lead to wonderful things. Pero ayun nga, no, really be careful on things that can be immoral, things that leads us to temptation, things that are, na hindi sila okay, but you're still gonna do it anyway. Kumbaga, just make sure na wala kang binabangga because you'll never know what that person might end up doing or end up resulting with. Alam mo yun, hindi natin alam kung ano, minsan yung mga tao kasi sobrang balyo na parang hindi mo expect na gagawa sila ng isang bagay and then they end up just doing it sa sobrang galit nila and stuff like that. So there is actually a very revengeful kind of energy for other people. And this can actually manifest in a very wonderful way naman we're in. Maybe you just want to do some form of research or again, something to do with astrology or occult. Um, this is a very eighth house energy as well. Also, since it has an element of taking away money, I would advise you guys not to lend money or any form of investments. Maybe not the best thing to do at this time kasi kumbaga, people are sneaky. People are, anong tawag dun sa Tagalog na word? Magulang. They tend to do things. Kumbaga, merong element dito ng pang-aabuso. We abuse things because maybe we think it's okay. Maybe we think it's possible. But it's not. And may limitation din ang bagay-bagay. And that's what we are going to learn in. And if you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, we might just learn things the hard way. All of those kinds of things. But yeah. But if you are going to spend this time to beautify certain things, marami naman kasing ways to activate this Mercury and Venus energy. Talking about justice, talking or trying to study a course or trying to beautify your own self, your own body, or, all of those kinds of things. Or doing some detective work. I don't know how is that going to manifest, but you know, also this also can trigger a situation wherein secrets can get revealed. You might find out a secret and that can create, a big shock to you in some form of way. Or there you might have some meron kang maybe someone did something, a silly mistake that triggers you. All of those kinds of things can actually be activated during this time as well. So, again, double check things before actually saying or implementing everything or anything. Um, Especially since Mars is actually aspecting Neptune, na-mention ko na to kanina. And it's also aspecting Mercury as well. So think before you act, think before you do, and think before you speak. And really make sure, may mga limitation ng bagay-bagay, guys. So any form of abuse, and it's not always physical abuse, it's not always emotional abuse. Like if you're asking someone a favor and lagi-lagi ka na lang ganon, you never try to change yourself, you never try to grow up, you never try to mature, you never try to survive on your own, you're always relying on someone else. This can also be a trigger point na maybe baka mapagsabihan ka na parang sobra ka na. Alam mo yun? Or you might have that situation wherein you might end up repeating something all over again. And sooner or later, a form of realization comes to you na parang, ulit ka na naman. Yan na naman. Parang, kailan ka ba matututo? Are you going to make things the hard way and stuff like that? But, so yeah, this energy has both good and bad elements to it. And naka-base lahat. Depende kung how truthful you are or how moral you are with certain things. And sometimes kahit na okay ka naman, maybe you are with someone na hindi okay and they have done something and you will have to deal with the repercussions of that. And it's highly dependent on you how you will deal with certain things. So, yun lang, be careful of abuso of all sorts of things. and it doesn't always have to be scary. Also, please be careful of your own possessions. If gusto mo ang isang bagay, alagaan mo. And wag kang gagawa ng bagay na ikakasira ng alam mo yun, ng ikakasira o ikakawala ng isang bagay. Regardless if it's physical material stuff or whether it's with a relationship or a person, because if that gets manifested in terms of relationships, you might just have that realization na ayoko pala nitong tao na to. Ayoko pala nitong relationship na to. I used to think that I like them, I want them, and now hindi pala. And that they might actually have that thought as well, you know. So it iba-iba, depende talaga how this will be manifested for each and every one of us. So we need to be, you know, at the same time, I really like the energy because it gives truth, okay? Whether it's a good truth or a feel good one or not, it still will reveal us some form of truth into things. And sometimes the truth is not going to be revealed physically. Sometimes it happens intuitively. Like you'll have that hunch, and you should not neglect that. Okay. Remember 12 degrees and Uranus, very psychic din ito, one way or another. Um, yeah, I think I have discussed everything that you need to know. I'm not gonna be talking about the lunar eclipse because it's another series of issue overall, but we will talk about that on the next video, basically. Pero so far, this is it for this new moon in the sign of Scorpio. So, if you are into manifestations and rituals and stuff like that, I'm sure, as usual, marami magtatanong sa akin, what kind of manifestation do can I do and stuff like that. Actually, you can do a lot of manifestation by yourself, and you don't need to rely on the moon for that. And but if you are, you know, interested with all those kinds of things, I think the best ritual for manifestation during this time is something to do with um the things that you really want to happen, or or situations that deals with authority, with the law, or justice and fairness when it comes to relationships. So that's going to be the winner, I would say so myself. Also, something to do with pleasure, because this new moon deals so much about pleasures, what feels good. And for some people, this can also be, you know, a new moon na parang mas ma-realize nila kung ano ba talaga yung gusto nila. Parang kumbaga, their true nature might be overpowering everything. Kahit na yung logical mindset nila says this, but this is what I feel. This is my primal energy. And I want to express that to the world. I want to do something to manifest this into my reality. So, ayun. I would just say na as long as you are not going to regret what you are going to do, then by all means, right? So, anyways, thank you guys for watching and tuning in with me. And yeah, if you want to book a reading with me, I think I am almost fully booked for November, so you can do your booking around December or for next year. So anyways, and also you can join my Facebook group or check out my website. I do sell spiritual goods like oils and lamp workings and lucky charms and stuff like that. So if you're into that, you can check the description down below this video and go to my website in the stars by Krissy.com/shop or in the stars by Krissy.com/services if you want to book sessions and readings. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and tuning in with me. Until next time, bye.